Senate will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Senators Baisley, Bridges, Senator Bridges,
Excused.
Buckner, Coleman, Cutter, Danielson, Exum, Fields, Senator Fields. Thank you. Gardner, Janal, Senator Janal, Gonzalez, Hanson, Henriksen, Hawkes Lewis, Kirkmeyer, Kolker, Liston, Lundin, Marchman, Michelson Janae, Senator Michelson Janae,
Excused.
Malika, Pelton B, Pelton R, Priola, Rich, Roberts, Rodriguez, Senator Rodriguez, Senator Rodriguez, Simpson, Smallwood,
Excused.
Sullivan, Van Winkle, Will, Winter, Zenzinger, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Bridges, Mr. President.
Here. Morning roll call is 33 present, 0 absent, 2 excused. We do have a quorum. Senator Malika, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal. Senator Pelton.
I know. Thank you, Mr. President. I can feel the wonderful emotion in the building today. We're going to get this thing passed today with a lot of ayes. I move that the Senate Journal of February 27th, 2024 be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? No. The ayes barely have it, and that motion is adopted. Senate Services.
February 28, 2024, correctly engrossed Senate Bills 35, 115, and 135. Senate Memorial 1, correctly revised House Bills 1032 and 1093, House Joint Resolutions 1017 and 1018, correctly enrolled Senate Bills 2, Senate Bill 2, and Senate Resolution 2.
Committee reports.
Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 155 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Finance, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 47 be amended as follows, and as so amended be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. Senate Bill 144 be postponed indefinitely. Senate Bill 32 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. Senate Bill 141 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. The Committee on Finance has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends that the appointments be placed on the consent calendar and confirmed. Member of the Colorado Racing Commission for a term expiring July 1, 2027. Dr. Kirsten Davis, DVM of Montrose, Colorado, and unaffiliated from the 3rd Congressional District to serve as a veterinarian appointed. Effective July 2, 2023 for terms expiring July 1, 2027. Glenn Jameron of Glenwood Springs, Colorado, to serve as a representative of bankers and a representative who resides west of the Continental Divide, reappointed. Sarah J. Ochterlani of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the public, reappointed. Laura Rosa Falcon, Colorado, to serve as a representative of bankers and as a representative of a bank having less than $150 million in total assets, appointed. Member of the Colorado Banking Board, for a term expiring July 1, 2025, Kimberly Gardner of Centennial, Colorado, to serve as an executive officer of a trust company occasioned by the resignation of Laura Jean Miller of Littleton, Colorado, appointed. Member of the Colorado Lottery Commission, effective July 2, 2023, for a term expiring July 1, 2027, William John Clayton of Littleton, Colorado, to serve as a representative of law enforcement and an unaffiliated, reappointed. After consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 111 be amended as follows, and is so amended be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. Committee on Local Government and Housing. After consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 94 be amended as follows, and is so amended be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Local Government and Housing has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends that the appointments be confirmed. Executive Director of the Department of Local Affairs for a term expiring at the pleasure of the Governor, Maria DeCamber of Denver, Colorado, appointed. After consideration of the merits, the committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 134 be amended as follows, and is so amended be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, and with a recommendation that it be placed on the consent calendar.
Introduction of bills.
House Bill 1017 by Representatives Darty and Parenti, Senators Zendiger and Michelson Janae, concerning a Bill of Rights for youth in foster care.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 1080 by Representatives Parenti and Wilford and Senators Danielson and Marchman, concerning requirements for youth sports personnel that improve the safety of the participants.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 1170 by Representatives Joseph and Ortiz and Senators Gonzalez and Michelson Janae, concerning the establishment of a Bill of Rights for youth in facilities operated by the Division of Youth Services.
Health and Human Services. Will the clerk please add Senator Smallwood to the roll? Members, he just can't get enough of us. Let's welcome back the one and only Senator Andy Kerr to the Senate chamber.
Okay. How about you proceed out of order?
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we proceed out of order for moments of personal privilege.
The motion before the body is for the Senate to proceed out of order for moments of personal privilege. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will now proceed out of order. Senator Zenzi.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I have a moment of personal privilege?
Granted.
Members, it is my pleasure to be able to welcome here today members of the Pingdong County, Republic of China from Taiwan. These members are part of the sister city with Jefferson County, and we would like to present a tribute in their honor today. It states here, State of Colorado, the Senate and House of Representatives convened in the second session of the 74th General Assembly, hereby extends heartiest congratulations and commendation to Pingdong County, Republic of China, Taiwan. On this 35th anniversary of Jefferson County, Colorado, USA, establishing a sister county relationship with Pingdong County of Republic of China, Taiwan, we offer our recognition of the importance of cooperation between cultures.
Senator Cutter.
Seeking mutual roads to peace and prosperity is while we are worlds apart geographically, sharing ideas and exchanging support can be the small steps that lead to big change. Seeking mutual roads to peace and prosperity is always important, and it is timely today. The state of Colorado honors and congratulates these two counties on reaching this laudable milestone.
On request of Senators Rachel Zenzinger and Lisa Cutter and Representatives Chris DeGree Kennedy and Monica Duran, given this 28th day of February 2024, State Capitol, Denver, Colorado. And members, I would like to welcome to our chambers our visitors who are here with us today. Chairman Alexander C.H. Chung, Chairman Elizabeth H.T. Hsu, Chairman Dr. Yuwin Lai, and with us today, Commissioner Senator Andy Kerr, Commissioner Representative Tracy Kraft-Tharp, and Commissioner Leslie Dahlkemper. Welcome.
Senator Cutter.
May I have a moment of personal privilege?
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just so excited to be able to stand here with my colleague, Senator Zenzinger, and welcome these guests. As a tribute stated, it's so important for us to seek out collaboration and relationships with people and communities all over the world, and I'm honored to be part of this tribute today. Thank you so much for being here.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. As many of my colleagues in this room know, I have a special affinity for China, and in particular for the members of the delegation from Taiwan. We're just so excited that you're able to be here today. Welcome to our beautiful capital, and we hope that you enjoy your conversations with Jefferson County and our officials. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Senators, for that tribute. The Senate will now stand in a brief recess to greet our guests. The Senate will come back to order. Third reading of bills. Final passage. Consent calendar. Will the clerk please read the titles of all of the bills on the consent calendar?
House Bill 1032 by Representative Lynch and Duran and Senators Janal and Will concerning an extension of the time for implementation of the Wild Horse Population Management Program. Senate Bill 135 by Senator Buckner and Representative Brown concerning the modification of state agency department reporting requirements. House Bill 1093 by Representatives Armagosa and Martinez and Senator Henriksen concerning granting provisional peace officer certification to a person who is authorized as a peace officer in the armed forces.
Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the passage of all the bills on third reading of bills consent calendar, which includes House Bill 1032, Senate Bill 135, and House Bill 1093.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of all of the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar. Are there any no votes? Senator Van Winkle.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to be recorded as a no vote on Senate Bill 135.
Senator Van Winkle will be recorded as a no vote on Senate Bill 135. Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to be recorded as a no vote on Senate Bill 135.
Senator Pelton R. will be recorded as a no vote on Senate Bill 135. Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to be recorded as a no vote on Senate Bill 135.
Senator Baisley will also be recorded as a no vote on Senate Bill 135. With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, House Bill 1032 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Priola, Coleman, Fields, Marchman, with a vote of 32 ayes, 2 noes. With a vote of 31 ayes, 3 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 135 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Exum, Coleman, we are on co-sponsors for Senate Bill 135. Senator Buckner, I can't add you as a co-sponsor because it's your bill. With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, House Bill 1093 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Hansen, Roberts, Mullica, Coleman, Pelton R., Pelton B., Liston, Will, Exum, Kirkmeyer, Smallwood, Janal, Jaquez Lewis, Gardner, Winter, Fields, Buckner, Priola, Sullivan, Bridges, third reading of bills. Final passage. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill 115 be laid over until Monday, March the 4th.
The motion is to lay over Senate Bill 115 until Monday, March 4th. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no? No. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 115 will be laid over until Monday. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 35?
Senate Bill 35 by Senators Pelton B. and Fields and Representative Winter T. concerning strengthening the enforcement of human trafficking for servitude.
Senator Fields.
Good morning, Mr. President and colleagues. We move the adoption of Senate Bill 35, and we ask for a favorable recommendation.
Any further discussion? Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I very much appreciate the work that has been done on this bill. The amendment that was put on in second reading is a recognition that sometimes victims get arrested and charged as traffickers. We heard from victims themselves who testified during the committee, survivors of trafficking, who raised this concern. They then sent forward 10 pages worth of letters, signatures, notes from survivors who were urging caution. I appreciate the amendment that was put on in second reading, but I also will say that because there is still that chance and that possibility, I will be a no vote today. Thank you.
Senator Fields.
Members, I think it's important for us to understand that human trafficking is a serious crime. Because people who are engaged in this kind of activity are looking for the most vulnerable people in our community. Sometimes they're homeless children, boys and girls. Sometimes they're adults with intellectual disabilities. And what happens is we have these predators that are looking for people like this, and they traffic them. Sometimes they transport them from state to state because they want to maintain their enterprise. And their enterprise is to make sure that these boys or girls or whoever are trafficked as sex workers in our community. Right now, the standard that we have in the state of Colorado, the punitive measures that are associated is not a deterrent. We heard testimony in community that oftentimes when this person is incarcerated or put in jail for just a few minutes and they're bailed out, they come back and they continue to do the same type of activity, is to pimp and to take advantage of the most vulnerable people in our community. There has to be a greater sense of punishment for these types of people. We heard testimony from one woman, I think I shared this with you, however you want to call him, the pimp, whoever, the manipulator, whatever. He got out of jail, and she was forced to work again from 9 p.m. in the morning until 4 a.m. at night. And then when she came back home, he would abuse her. Human trafficking is a violent crime. This bill was brought to us by district attorneys. It was brought to us by advocates, and most importantly, by victims. What's important about this bill is the statute of limitations. The statute of limitation has been expanded for women and boys or whoever are involved in this kind of scenario. They would have a small window, I believe it was 3 years. Now they have 20 years. It is really hard to break out this cycle when there has been psychological, mental harm done to these folks. When it says, you know, 1 minute they say, I love you, then the next minute they say, get out and work. And when you don't have a lot of options, this might be something you get involved in. But when you do, and a woman or a boy or whoever comes to finally have the courage to say enough is enough, and they report the crimes that have happened to them, then the state of Colorado should say that we have a state that is safe and secure against anyone that wants to operate in this profession as it relates to human trafficking. Members, vote no on Senate Bill 35.
Senator Fields, please. Let's fix it.
I want to make it perfectly clear. After all I said, vote no. Vote yes. Don't vote no.
Yes.
Vote yes. We need to have a community that's safe from people that are trying to manipulate the most vulnerable people in our community. Vote yes. Vote yes on Senate Bill 35.
Y'all didn't know we was having church in here this morning. Any further discussion? Senator Pelton B.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank my co-prime for all her hard work with this and working together with me on this. In human trafficking, victims are reduced to objects for commerce, leading to a $150 billion industry, representing the second largest source of income for organized crime. Since 2014, when Colorado human trafficking statutes went into effect, 268 cases have been filed. Only 54 of those cases resulted in human trafficking convictions. The median sentence for those convictions was 15 years. And in the Department of Corrections, and those offenders will only serve between 33 and 50% of the sentence. From 2020 to 2022, 69 human trafficking cases were filed. Of those cases, more than 50 of the victims were children. Only 9 of those cases resulted in human trafficking convictions. In September of 2023, California passed SB 14, making trafficking of a minor a serious felony. Human traffickers face more serious sentences under many other state laws and under federal law than they do in Colorado. This bill fixes that. There are at least 30 other states already that have mandatory minimums for trafficking of adults and children, and at least 39 other states have higher sentences ranges. Members, this bill will protect the most vulnerable, and it's a deterrent to keep people from hurting the most vulnerable. Like I said, when I got into this very first time, I did a lot of research, and I had no idea how much human trafficking goes through my district because of the highways and because of the truck stops along those ways. It's a terrible crime. And we, with this bill, with passing this bill today out of this Senate chamber, we're going to tell everybody in the United States that Colorado's children, God's children, are not for sale. I ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I step into the well to thank my colleagues across the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, united together working on this issue over an extended period of time. In my first 5 years in the body, ran 4 different bills, anti-human trafficking bills, and we've created increasingly an effective, more effective, hopefully, fabric, web of support for survivors and tools for law enforcement and actual punishment for those who engage in this heinous crime of selling another person essentially into servitude in a horrifying way. We, among the bills that I ran years ago, one actually provided a tool to law enforcement. It was illegal on the books in Colorado, or legal to provide wiretaps for drug trafficking, for any number of crimes, but not for human trafficking, and we were able to change that. Think about that. A child is probably one of the least able people to testify, to bring evidence and testimony to a conviction, but a wiretap would enable that child to, when in the pain of the circumstance, provide information that law enforcement could use. We ran another bill that I believe elegantly provided supports. We identified human trafficking essentially as child abuse, and by doing that, it provided all sorts of support. So my point is, we together, cross-chamber, across time, Republicans and Democrats, have been building a better set of laws to tamp down on. And tragically, you heard the bill sponsor speak. It's a hundreds and hundreds of billion-dollar industry. Unlike selling drugs, you sell drugs once, the inventory's gone. But when you pull someone into servitude and sell them over and over and over again, it is not only horrifying for that individual, but it's economically beneficial to those who do that. And that is why bills like Senate Bill 35 deserve the support not only of their sponsors, but of all of us in this chamber. I urge your support in the continuing fight against human trafficking in support of Senate Bill 35.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 35. Are there any no votes? Senators Gonzalez. With a vote of 33 aye, 1 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 35 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Exum, Winter, Mullica, Roberts, Mr. Minority Leader, Kirkmeyer, Smallwood, Gardner, Liston, Rich, Pelton R., Baisley, Simpson, Will, Van Winkle, Coker, Janal, Danielson, Zenzinger, Jaquez Lewis, Marchman, Cutter, Buckner, Priola. Please add the president. And Senator Henriksen. Delivery to the governor.
February 28, 2024, to the governor for signature on Tuesday, February 27, 2024, at 1:59 p.m. Senate Bills 29, 30, and 51, Senate Joint Resolution 4.
Announcements. Senator Buckner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am requesting a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. I think that everyone in this beautiful chamber can see all the pink and green in this room today. Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority is in the Senate chamber. Our colors are pink and green, and we also wear pearls, and I am absolutely thrilled to have all of them here with us today. And since they are all here, we have a tribute for our own Senator Rhonda Fields. The Senate of the Colorado Legislature convened in the second regular session of the 74th General Assembly hereby extends our warmest congratulations and commendation to Senator Rhonda Fields. During her tenure in the Senate, Senator Fields has been a champion for her community. She has consistently shown up for Aurora and her constituents by spearheading legislation to advance public education, health equity, maternal health practices, and community investment. I am so proud to call her my sister and to have worked alongside her all of these years. We are proud members of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, our most beloved sorority that we strive to be an example in our roles as state legislators. Our sisters who are joining us in the chamber today praise Senator Fields for her fearless and inclusive leadership these last 16 years in the state legislature. Our sorority is taking up the mantle of soaring to greater heights of service and sisterhood in her honor. On the request of Senator Janet Buckner, given this 28th day of February 2024, State Capitol, Denver, Colorado, and signed by the President, Steve Fenberg. I just want to say how much it means to me to have our sorority here today to witness how much we love Senator Fields here in the state Senate. And I served with her in the House, and now it's an honor to serve with her in the Senate as well. So I am just proud. We also have a little surprise for her that she's not aware of. Oh, I need my cell phone. Hold on. Our Midwestern Regional Director is here today, Ms. Soror Anika Starling, and we have a resolution for Senator Fields from Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And if it's okay with you all, I'd like to read it because it's really special. Whereas Rhonda Marshall Fields is a Democratic politician from Colorado who represents District 28 in the Colorado Senate, and whereas Senator Fields serves as the chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, a member of the Education Committee, and Legislative Audit Committee, and whereas Senator Fields served in the Colorado House of Representatives representing District 42 in Aurora, Colorado for 3 consecutive terms, and whereas Senator Fields was the first African-American woman elected in State House District 42, as well as the first Speaker pro tem. And whereas Senator Fields serves on numerous boards, including the Safe to Tell Advisory Board and Voices of Victims. And whereas Senator Fields is the founder of the Fields Wolf Memorial Fund, a nonprofit started in honor of her son, Javad Fields, and his fiancee, Vivian Wolf. And whereas Senator Fields' professional affiliations include Women in Government, the National Federation of Women Legislators, the Colorado Black Caucus, the National Council of Negro Women, the Urban League of Denver, the NAACP, Black Women for Political Action, and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And whereas in 2011, Senator Fields received the Rising Star Award of the Colorado Democratic Party, the 2011 Leadership for Healthy Communities Award from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the Wilma Webb 2011 Colorado Legislator of the Year presented by African American Voices, the 2011 Black Women for Political Action Award, the 2010 Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award, and the Colorado Black Chamber of Commerce President's Courage Award, and there's more. And whereas Senator Fields sponsored 9 bills and 2 joint resolutions in her first legislative session to combat childhood obesity, legislation to require 30 minutes of physical activity a day in Colorado schools, she led legislation to authorize the Public Utilities Commission to create a tiered electricity rate for customers with medical conditions. And whereas Senator Fields has invested many hours listening to her constituents to ensure that their voices were heard. And whereas in 5,280 magazine, she was ranked 37th on its list of 50 most powerful women in Denver metro area, saying she has gained the type of respect that politicians dream about. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Midwestern Region, Social Action Committee recognize and commend Senator Rhonda Marshall Fields, a public servant, for her service to the citizens of Colorado. Senator Rhonda Marshall Fields for her service in the Colorado House of Representatives and Colorado Senate for years 2011 through 2025, presented the 28th day of January 2024. And I already got this okay from the President of the Senate. Since our rules do not allow someone who's visiting to come to the well, I would like to walk over to our Alpha Kappa Alpha Midwestern Regional Director who flew in today, especially for this, and let her hand this award to Senator Fields. Thank you. You may be seated. And while I'm up here and have personal privilege, I would like to introduce the officers of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority who are here today. Rhonda and I are so proud to be in this sorority. We've told you about the history of this sorority. I was a charter member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority at Ball State University. And had it not been for that sorority lifting me up through years of prejudice and discrimination, I wouldn't be where I am today. And these sisters in pink and green and pearls today are always here for Senator Fields and for Senator Janet Buckner. So I would like to introduce Anika Wilson-Starling, again, the Regional Director of the Midwestern Region of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Thank you so much for flying in today. Soror Kathy Nesbitt, Cluster A representative to the Midwestern region and Mu Omega Omega chapter president. Soror Andriette Jordan Fields, Social Justice and AKA Day sponsor at the Capitol. She's the chair of today, and you have done a fabulous job of organizing this for us. These ladies are not just here to observe today. We have a workshop that we're going to participate in a little bit later on today. And what a perfect place to do this, because we are so invested in the community and how we can promote legislation to help everyone. So how appropriate is that today? Next, I would like to introduce Michelle Adams, Vice President of Mu Omega Omega chapter. There she is. Hey! Michelle and I go way back. I would also like to introduce Brittany Joy West Ware, Cluster A Program Representative for the Midwestern region, and she is Vice President of Epsilon Nu Omega Chapter. Thank you so much. And she's really been instrumental in making sure that this day was so special for all of us, and especially for Senator Fields. So we're proud of you, and sorors, I love you. Thank you for being here today.
Senator Fields.
Good morning, Mr. President. I'd like to take a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. My heart is so full. Thank you. You guys don't need to stand. I just want to say thank you. I was raised in a family that my mama and my grandmother told me that people don't have to ever do anything for you. But when they do, have the grace and the courtesy to say thank you. Thank you, my sisters. Thank you. Thank you to my colleagues for allowing us to have this time and this opportunity. I can tell you I am who I am because of the sisters and the mamas and the aunties and everyone who invested in my life. I am a second generation Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority sister. My daughter is third generation. And what I know about our sorority is that it was established in 1908. Just imagine, 1908. At that time, black people were called Negroes. And so at that time, we had 9 women who was attending Howard University who had the audacity to convene and ally together to establish a sorority that has close to 400,000 members across the United States and internationally. I'm not quite sure if those 9 women knew or could imagine that Senator Buckner and I would be taking our place in the Colorado State Senate. And not only just us, when we look at the members that we have across the nation, our Vice President Harris is also a woman of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Inc. Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta Scott King. There's more, Alice Walker, Toni Morrison, and the list that goes on and on and on. But what it took the audacity and the courageous leadership of these women to establish an organization that is about service and sisterhood. So I don't know what your perceptions are as it relates to a sorority. I'm only a member of one. And the sorority that I'm a part of, and the women that are here today, we're about encouraging academic excellence. The women that you see here today is about Black excellence. And they have achieved success in every corner of society. It could be an engineer, it could be a doctor, it could be a lawyer, it could be a mama, it could be having your own nonprofit. You could be a pastor, you could be a senator, you could be a teacher, you could be a social worker. But what our organization does is celebrates the success not only for the individual, but for the collective good. So I'm here to just tell you that I love you all. Sisterhood is so very important. And to see you here today as my Black sisters supporting another Black sisters, our sisterhood, is so very important. We need to continue to lift each other up. And I want to thank you for this tribute and this honor. It means so very much for me. I was taken by surprise. Wasn't expecting it. I asked Senator if I could read the tribute. She said no. When she said no, I knew something was up. But I had no idea it was going to highlight some of the things that I've done. It's not as an individual. It's been as collective with all of you here, all those bills, all that is done from the partnership and the relationships that I have with all of you. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Fields, thank you for your service. We ain't quite done yet. We still got some more work to do. Members, if you have an opportunity, please do get an opportunity to walk around and just greet the members of AKA today if you have a chance before you leave the chamber. Further announcements? Senator Buckner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Education Committee will be meeting today at 1:30 in room 357. We have appointments and reappointments, and we also have some bills we're going to be hearing today. We will be hearing Senate Bill 24-122, Senate Bill 132, Senate Bill 101 is being laid over, so we won't hear that today. And we'll be hearing Senate Bill 049 in the Education Committee. Thank you.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, the Senate Judiciary Committee will be meeting today at 1:30 in the Old Supreme Court. We'll be hearing Senate Bill 120, 107, and 145. Thank you.
Senator Janal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is Alzheimer's Association Day at the Capitol, and a number of volunteers from across our state are here to highlight the daily struggles of Colorado families dealing with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. These diseases are characterized by a decline in memory, thinking, reasoning, and other cognitive abilities, severe enough to interfere with daily activities. The Alzheimer's Association calls dementia a family disease because it impacts beyond the person living with it. Dementia has tremendous financial and emotional hardships, especially on family caregivers. Examples are multiple studies show that as many as 40% of dementia caregivers report depression, and 44% of them report anxiety. Also, it has been estimated that dementia caregivers spent an average of $12,000 in out-of-pocket costs due to their caregiving in 2021-22. The Colorado chapter of the Alzheimer's Association works with volunteers in communities across our state to support the 76,000 Coloradans and growing living with the disease and their 160,000 family caregivers. They provide care and support services free of charge to families struggling with Alzheimer's and dementia. They raise funds for dementia-related medical research, and they strive to increase education and awareness about this terrible disease. If these volunteers, and you should see them out roaming around the Capitol, and some of them are outside the glass there with the purple sashes, if they come around to visit you today, please listen to their stories and the information that they will provide about what we as legislators can do to help support them. Thank you.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of Transportation and Energy, we're meeting at 1:30 today, and we have one appointment and one bill. I look forward to seeing you this afternoon.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee, we're going to meet at 10:15, so about 15 minutes in 352. We have one bill on our agenda, Senate Bill 148. See you there.
Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow we have Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee. I'm just making a quick announcement that we will not be hearing Senate Bill 151. It will be scheduled for a later date. Thank you.
Senator Liston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I want to remind you, some of you, I have passed this around. Tomorrow is going to be our first nuclear caucus. For those of you who are interested, it's going to be in room 603, the first bipartisan nuclear caucus. Like it says here, we're going to be splitting atoms, not parties. So I hope you'll come join us for the first nuclear caucus. We have a great organization called Oklo, which is going to come educate us about what's going on in the nuclear energy industry. And also, there's actually another meeting today at noon. By the way, the one tomorrow will be in the Senate Services Building, room 603, tomorrow from 12:30 to 1:30. And today there's also a meeting over in 603 at noon. So you're invited, refreshments, lunch will be provided. So I hope that you'll come and learn something about the nuclear energy industry. And last but not least, Mr. President, I have asked the minority leader and the majority leader to be excused Friday, March the 1st. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Senate Health and Human Services Committee, we have two bills upon adjournment. We're going to meet at 10:30 in Senate Room 357.
Senator Will.
Drop the judge. Go ahead. You want to start?
You go ahead.
Senator Will.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to announce that it's Pharmacy Day, Colorado Pharmacists Society, and it's Pharmacy Day at the Capitol. And we want to invite you to the legislator reception tonight, 4:30 to 7 p.m. And it's at the Colorado Health Capitol, 303 East 17th. You should have this on your desk.
Senator Hawkins Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Asking for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. Everyone should have one of these wonderful lollipops provided by the Colorado Pharmacy Society. They are not fentanyl. They are not fentanyl lollipops. They may look like them, but they are not, I promise you. And I just want to say, if you can join us at the reception, Senator Will is receiving an award there. So it's very nice reception. Thank you.
Thank you. My apologies, Mr. President.
It's all good. Any other announcements? Senator Gardner.
Thank you, members. Listen up. This is number 2 of 7 announcements about Aerospace Day on Monday, because you'll go away for the weekend and show back up and go, what are they doing? Aerospace Day is going to be Monday, March 4th. Look for it. All the cool exhibits will be downstairs. Thanks.
Members, Senate State Veteran Military Affairs Committee will be meeting upon adjournment at about 10:20 in Old Supreme Court. We'll be hearing Senate Bill 160 and Senate Bill 157. And before I pass it to the Majority Leader, message from the House.
February 28, 2024, Mr. President. The House has passed on third reading and transmitted to the revisor of statutes. House Bills 1044, 1056, and 1096. Amendment is printed in the House Journal, February 28, 2024.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate recess until 12 p.m. today. Colleagues, there is no need to return. We'll just be reviewing bills to read across the desk.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will recess until 12 p.m. today.